Welcome friends, welcome to class. In this practice we're going to work a little bit with myofascial release. This is a good class for your rest day. We're going to focus on the lower body, so everything from the hips down, legs, feet. So if you're a runner, you do a lot of running, this one will definitely be a good one for your rest day. What you need for this class is one myofascia ball. If you don't have a fascia ball, you can also use a tennis ball, a cricket ball, a lacrosse ball, anything that's a little bit firm. If you plan on doing these regular, definitely worth it to invest in one. I might put a link in the subscription. Also, I recommend you having a block that will give us an extra bit of height. We're going to work with. If you don't have a block, you can also use just a stack of books that will give us a little platform to work with the ball as well. All right, we're going to get started by putting the block and the ball to the side and just come into a Malasana squat at the back of your mat. And feet come to the outer edges of the mat, bending the knees, letting the hips be heavy. And this one is just to give us a little bit of reference to how the body feels now and how it might feel after just half an hour of doing myofascial release. So if you can't bring the heels down, that's also fine. The heels just off, just being in a crouch or squat down here. You can walk the fingertips forward. You can keep the chest upright, moving the hips side to side just a little bit. Maybe even closing down through your eyes. Letting your awareness drop into feet, legs. Notice how your arches feel, how your toes feel. And take one more breath in. On the exhale, straighten your legs, lift the hips up high, feet can stay apart. Let the upper body just hang off your hips and gently sway side to side. Feel yourself into the back of the legs. And then slowly roll up the spine all the way up to stand. Bring the feet together. I'm just gonna close down through the eyes and take a couple of steps, very slow and small steps towards the front. So left foot steps forward first, and then stepping the right foot forward. Small and mindful, noticing how the legs are feeling, noticing how the feet are feeling. And once you come to the top of the mat, grab one of your balls, just the ball that you have. We're going to start with the right foot first. So you're going to bring the heel of the right foot to the ground, bring the fascia ball to the base of your big toe, and then begin to transfer some weight into the ball. The good thing is with fascia balls, they can take a lot of your weight, so you can really sink into them. Cricket balls generally as well. Tennis balls are maybe a little bit too squashy. And then as you press down through the foot, begin to spread your toes and then curl the toes back in, just like you would do a fist with your feet, just a couple of times. And then relax the toes. Keep the heel of the foot on the ground and begin to roll the ball along the edge of the knuckles of your foot. So you're just rolling it across the rim to the little toe and then back towards the big toe, just side to side. Continue to put weight in. What you can also do, you can continue to open and close your toes, so spread them wide and then bring them back together, just while you go side to side. And one more time, rolling out towards the right side and then rolling back towards the big toe mound. Now bring the ball to the base of the heel, or just where the heel turns into your arch. Then bring the toes down and just squish the ball underneath the heel, or like close where heel turns into arch, and just go side to side. Scribble a little bit. So generally talking, when you do myofascial release, go slow. Like You want to roll everything out fast. See if you can go a little bit slower than you wanted to. And instead let your mind drop into the area where the ball is touching your skin. Notice what sensations arise. One more time. And then stand the right foot on the ball and scribble the entire sole of the right foot out so you can go along the inner edge. And this one you can go a little bit faster. Just put a little bit of weight in and let the ball go everywhere. You can go to the outer edge depending on where the ball is. Sometimes you can go faster, sometimes you can go slower. Really putting some weight in there too. Scribbling out the entire sole of the right foot. And then take the right foot down to the ground. Just stand up tall. Close down through your eyes. And notice right foot compared to left foot. Might feel a little bit of blood flow sensation, temperature change. Now we're going to go to the other side. So bring the ball to the base of the left big toe. Left heel stays down, and then just put some weight into the ball first. You can pulsate the weight into the ball just a couple of times, leaning forward and then back out of it. You can stay with that, or you can spread the toes and flex them. You might notice that one foot it's easier to spread the toes than the other. It's almost like you have two different feet. Just a couple more times. And keep the left heel down and begin to move the block towards the left toe. So you roll sideways with the foot. Let the block move along the knuckles of the left foot, just side to side, keeping pressure on the ball. And you can decide if you want to add on a spreading and closing of the toes as well here. Invites a breaking of the metatarsals. Metatarsals are the bones in your feet, just like in your hands. The ones that you have in the palm of your hand, you also have in your feet. And by moving the ball along, you introduce some movement. Instead of having the feet always stuck in shoes, you let the metatarsals, you give them a bit of breathing space. One more time, rolling out to the side and then back to its center. And then coming off the ball, placing the left toes down and bringing the ball to just the edge of the heel and arch of the left foot. Transferring some weight down and then just squibbling side to side. Just one more time. And then begin to roll out the entire left foot. So you can go a little bit wild here. You can roll out the arch. And you have a lot of control over the ball, so you can go a little bit faster. When you go more to the outer edge, you have the tendency to lose the ball, so you can go a little bit slower. You just go on your own. If you like to go faster, you go faster. If you like to go slower, you go slower. Really be curious about what areas of the foot feel a bit different than others, and also noticing how different speeds result in different sensations. Just rolling it out for another maybe 5 or so seconds. And then coming off the ball, standing both feet down, lifting all 10 toes off the floor and placing them back down. So one more time, lift up and then place back down. Close your eyes, just observe left to right. And then we're going to make our way into an all-fourth position. So coming down onto your knees, coming down onto your hands. That's where we might need the block or the books. You're going to roll out the shin, and it's a bit easier if we place the ball onto a block because it gives us more space for the ankle and the right foot. So we start on the right side. Begin to bring the block just outside the right shin. So when you touch your right shin, you have the bone running straight down the center, and then just on the right side you have a bit of flesh where we can put the ball. So I'm going to place the ball out here. You can start center of the thigh or center of the shin. We're not at the thigh yet, so we stay with the shin. And then you decide to just put a bit of pressure on here. And you can decide if you want to go a little bit away from the shin towards the right, or if you want to stay close to your shin bone. We're just slowly working our way up towards the knee joint, but like really slowly over the course of the next minute or so. If you need to adjust by moving the block a little bit up the ball a little bit up the block, you do so. If you find an interesting spot as well, and this is very unique to you, where these balls hurt or where sensation gets more intense, it's very unique to you. So if you find an interesting spot, you can also stay, transfer some more weight in, and breathe. For me, I always get one just below the knee joint, on quite almost towards my calf, the outside of the calf. If you're into Chinese medicine, it's working on your spleen meridian here. That doesn't say anything to you, don't worry about it. You still get the benefits. You can make your way back down the shin as well. Just exploring what's happening outside that bone. If you find a spot you maybe want to hold and just take 2 to 3 breaths. And then slowly coming off the ball, just going to change side, taking the block a little bit further towards the left, and then bringing the left shin onto it, just outside the left shin bone. And you can start at center. I like to start at the center and then begin to work my way up, transfer more weight, less weight, very individual, exploring the sensations. And you can go up or down. We're just outside that shin bone for a minute or so. And while you do it, it's very important to keep the rest of your body relaxed. If we find these sensitive spots, oftentimes other areas in the body want to get involved, like your face, for example, or you forget to breathe and your body gets tense. You want to continue your breath just as it always does, like nothing is happening, signaling your body that everything is okay. Making your way back down the shin, maybe closer towards the ankle. Don't have to go all the way down, you're just going along that rim of the bone. And you might get more sensations closer to the ankle. I get more sensations around the calf area, or the same height as my calf. And then slowly come off the ball. Gonna spin on our bum. Still working with the block and the ball. Gonna work into the calves. Just take a moment here for a second. Maybe sit up tall, knees bent. Observe the front of your shins. one more breath. Let your awareness go into the body, out of the mind. And then starting with the right calf, so left knee can stay bent. The ball goes on top of the block, and then place the center of your calf down. So with what we're going to do with the next couple pressure spots, we're going to do something called riding the bus, meaning I give you an option and then we continue to add on. But if you feel like the sensation is already enough for you, you just get off the bus and you continue to do what you already did. Or like you don't have to take it all the way. So start with the center of the calf. And then you can either pause here or slowly move the leg side to side, rolling the ball cross fiber from left to right. If you find an interesting spot, I highly encourage you to pause. And when you're in a tender spot, you can either stay still or you can begin to flex the toes back towards your hips and then point the toes again. So you point and stretch, they call it. So you have pressure in one spot with the ball and then you move the muscles across by pointing and flexing the toe, tightening and lengthening the muscle fiber. And then you can explore a little bit further. We don't want to go too low, so anywhere where the calf turns into the Achilles, you don't really want to go. You also want to stay away from anything right behind the knee. So we just explore the big flesh of the calf. You can go a little bit up, and then once again you either stay in one spot or you slowly move the leg left to right, letting the ball move across fiber. If you find an interesting spot, you can also pause, relax the leg, and then point and flex the toes. You can continue to explore like this. You can also press down into the left foot just a little bit to lift the hips off the ground, just an inch, hands are behind you, and then roll the ball across the belly of your calf, just up and down. So now you rolling the fiber out, like you rolling the fiber lengthways, or like you rolling with the way the muscle fibers run. Before we moved crossways, now we're moving lengthways. Here you can also turn the right foot a little bit out to the side so you get more into the outer calf. It's a nice spot for myself, so I'd like to share it. And once again, the books or the block just gives your heel a bit of extra height so you can maneuver the foot without having to worry that you have slided over the floor. And then come off, changing sides. Moving slow, mindful. Every time you change from side to side, also notice how they feel different. Like how does the side adjusted feel compare to the one I'm doing now? So bring the ball to the center of the calf. Hands can be behind you. And once again, either stay in a spot or move the leg out towards the left, out towards the right, letting the ball move cross fiber. Also relaxing the foot here, so you don't have to flex it. Relax the entire leg. Gives you a bit more depth. If you have an interesting spot, you hold, point, flex the toes. You decide how far you want to take that. Calves can be very sensitive for a lot of us. If you do a lot of running, a lot of walking, all that stuff. And then just slide down towards the block with your bum, so the ball moves closer towards the knee. Don't bring it anywhere behind the knee joint. All the ligaments and tendons you kind of want to stay away from. Keep it in the belly of the calf muscle. And then just let the leg move towards the right, move towards the left. See if you can keep the leg relaxed. If you're finding an interesting spot, you pause. Either stay, breathe and relax the leg, or point and flex the toes. Now either stay here or begin to lift the bum off the ground, press into the palms, and just slowly roll up and down the calf. Don't go anywhere near the Achilles, and don't go anywhere near the back of the knee. Staying away from tendons and ligaments. With these fascia balls, you try to always stay within the belly of the muscle, not where the muscle attaches. And you can decide if you want to turn the left foot out towards the side, so the entire leg is in external rotation, and you hit a bit more of the outside of the calf. Generally a nice spot for people. And then come off. We're going to turn onto our belly, take the block to the side and only stay with the ball. We're going to lay down, coming into swings pose, bringing the elbows underneath the shoulders. You can stay here. I'm just going to show you where we're going to place the ball. So we want the ball to go at the dead center of your thigh muscle. So if you would draw a target on your thigh, the ball wants to go dead center. So as you're in your swings pose, shift your weight into the left hip. And so you can place the ball right at the center of the right thigh, and then shift your weight back into swings. Forearms can stay down. If that becomes too much, you can also always lay all the way down and have your forehead on your hands. Now we're riding the bus. You can either stay here. You can also come onto your tippy toes, lift the right knee off the floor, and then little rocks back and forth. If you find an interesting spot, also hold and breathe. Or you begin to add on by bending through the right knee, and this one can be a little bit tender. And then straightening the leg again. So you can stay with that. You can also bend through the left knee, bring the left knee out towards the side, so you're in this half rock with the left leg, and then begin to bend the right knee again. It's just you have a little bit more pressure on the ball this way. Now you can stay with the knee bent and let the right foot fall out towards the right and fall towards the left. Once again, if that's not for you, you stay with what we talked about before. You can also keep the right foot up and in center, and then because the left knee is out, your hips are hovering over the floor, so you can pull the forearms towards your hips and slowly roll the ball down the thigh, and then pressing your forearms away and rolling up the thigh. That's a couple of times, up and down. Once again, you can stay with anywhere along this road. So you can either ride the bus to the last stop, or you get off in time when you feel like you're ready. Okay, and then we reverse. So straighten the right leg again, bring the left knee back in. Lower the left hip down, shift towards the left, take the ball out. Come towards center, just in swings pose for a minute or just for a second. Let the legs be heavy. Observe the right thigh compared to the left. And then we're shifting to the other side. So weight into the right hip. Place the ball right at the bullseye of your left thigh, and then shift your weight into the left leg. Now you can either stay here, you can come onto your toes, and then do little rocks by pushing the toes into the floor to the back of the mat. And you have a little bit of movement of the ball just as you rock back and forth. You can either stay here, or you begin to bend through the left knee, keeping the right foot in to start with, because by pressing the right thigh down, you're taking some weight, some pressure off the ball. If you want some more pressure, you simply let the left hip be heavy. And you can stay with just bending and straightening that left leg. Or you begin to add on. If you want to add on, bring the left foot back down, and then bend the right knee, right foot, right leg goes out towards the side. Now you can either stay here, using the left toes as they're tucked under to move up and down the ball. You can also begin to bend through the left knee, and then letting the left foot fall out towards the left and fall towards the right. So you're internally, externally rotating the left leg in the hip socket, but you're also moving the fiber across the ball. You can stay with that movement, or you begin to press into your forearms, or press the forearms away from you so the ball rolls up the thigh. You can pull them towards your hips. The ball rolls down the thigh. Wherever you on the bus, continue just a couple more seconds. If you find a nice spot, pause, breathe. And then we slowly reverse. The leg is bent, straighten the leg again. Bring the right leg back in. Shift your weight into the right hip. Take the ball out. And come back to swings. Maybe lower your forearms down. Bring the forehead onto your forearms. Observe the legs. And then we continue to turn ourselves onto our back. Take the block into your right hand. Well, let's start with the left hand. Take the ball into the left hand, then cross the left ankle over the right knee. Now press into the right foot, lift the bum up, and bring the ball into the bullseye of your left butt cheek. And actually, not quite the bullseye, so where the bullseye is, you draw a line up towards your hips. So bullseye of your bum, and then closer towards your hip. You can stay here. You can take the hands onto your hips. You can take the left hand onto the left thigh. And then either stay in one spot, or you can move the hips towards the left, towards the right, so you're letting the ball just move around the edge of the left butt cheek. So just on top of it, you can let it roll out towards the left outer hip as well. There's a nice little tender spot. By doing that, you let the left knee move down towards the floor and the hips move towards the right. Just a couple more times. If you find an interesting spot, hold, breathe, relax. And then press into the right foot, lift the hips up, take the ball out, changing sides. Mindfully, right ankle over left knee, press into the left foot, lift the right butt cheek up or the hips up, and then place the ball just bullseye of the right bum, and then you draw a line up towards your hips. And you don't want to go onto the pelvis or the bony bit of your hips. You want to just be below, where there's still like some soft muscle tissue. That's where the ball wants to go. And then you can decide if you want to stay in one spot, or if you want to roll the hips towards the left, letting the ball move towards the right outer edge of your hip. Usually a couple of interesting tight spots here. It's really important with this fascia work that you get curious of what feels good, what feels interesting. And then slowly come back off the ball. Roll over towards your left side and bring yourself back up. Coming through all fours, taking the block towards the side, and then pressing into your hands, rolling over the balls of the feet, and come back into your malasana squat or into your crouch, you decide. And just observe how the hips feel, how the legs, the calves feel. Maybe gently shifting weight from foot to foot. Take one more breath in. And then exhale, straighten your legs and move them towards straight. Feet can stay out wide. Fingertips can stay on the ground. Letting the head be heavy. Once again, gently swaying side to side. We haven't done a trigger point on the hamstrings because it's quite difficult to do with just a block and the ball. It's usually better to do when you sit on a table. So I might do an extra video for that one. Because there is so much goodness in the hamstrings, but still, if we do the hips, if we do the calves, back of the legs should feel a little bit more open. And then take a soft bend into the knees, roll up the spine, come all the way up to stand. And bring the feet closer towards one another. Hands can be by your hips, close down through your eyes. Lift up all 10 toes off the floor. And then place them back down. Now we walk back towards the front of the mat. Take a step with the left foot, step with the right foot, just moving slow, shifting your weight mindfully from foot to foot, noticing how the legs feel, the process of walking. And then heel toe the feet to the outer edges. Once you arrive, come back down through your squat, roll onto your back, and lay all the way down, coming into Shavasana, just a moment of stillness. Open the legs out wide, let the palms face up. Let the awareness drop into your hips. Sensations of your thighs, calves, feet. I'm going to leave you here. If you have an extra minute to stay, take that extra minute just to observe, letting what you just did to yourself integrate into the muscle tissue, the fascia tissue. Noticing your breath, your inner state of being, the quality of your body, quality of your breath. Thank you so much for being here, taking the time to do a different kind of practice. If you'd like to see more of this, please let me know what you would like to see, what areas of the body you would like to roll out. and I hope to see you soon. Namaste.